Okay guys, I just watched the weather and I seen that we got a little low pressure coming through this weekend, and it looks like it's gonna be a lot of rain coming. At first it was like 10%, 20%. Now they're giving up to 2 or 3 inches of rain. So I need to get ready to plant my fall crop. I've been having it ready, but I just kind of been putting it on the back burner, and now it's time to do it. But before I can do that, I gotta chop up the ground and get everything ready to go, because once it starts raining, everything's gonna be a mess. And I gotta use my old tiller right here because my other one's broken. So I need to put some air in the tire. So guys, why don't you come along? I'm gonna get this chopped up and we're gonna see what we can do. I had a tiller for my tractor, but that one got broken. I don't know what happened to it, but let's see if this thing will start. Oh, I'll start first crack. Okay guys, got all that chopped up. Tell you what, it's getting hot out here already. And we're in the middle of November and we're sweating over here. And one thing about this out, you wait long enough, the weather will change. But all that shrimp peelings and fish heads and everything that I put down in here, that is all gone. That is all broken down already, and it is ready to plant. Now the soil is clumpy still. And one thing about my soil don't really break down very good. As far as get fine and powdery and everything, it usually always stays clumpy and everything. And I guess that's an asset to me, because what happens, it holds good moisture. I got real lumpy, clumpy soil, clay soil, whatever you want to call it. And it really helps me out, because when I water, it usually stays wet for a long time. So next thing I need to do is I need to get to making these rows so I can get ready to plant. So let's go ahead and get started on that. guys, I want to show y'all something. My tractor, I got this little small tractor and everything, and it was having a lot of trouble picking up my roll maker. My roll maker would drag when I passed it in the yard. Everywhere I passed, it makes some ruts in the yard because it was chopping up the grass and everything. So I couldn't figure out what to do. So I talked to a few people, and I talked to the guy at the tractor supply place, and he told me just to weld some pad eyes on the bottom of it and make it where it drops down further. So what I did is I took the pins out right here, and I welded a plate, one even with it and one on top of it to kind of secure it and everything. And then I popped some holes and I re-welded the pins back in place. And I tell you what, it really made a difference for sure. My tractor now is, I guess my roll maker is probably up almost 4 or 5, at least 6, almost a foot higher now, just by dropping it up there a little bit. So guys, if you're having trouble with your implements dragging and everything, that might be something you want to try. But make sure you weld it solid, because if you don't weld it stiff, what'll happen is it'll eventually bend. But I've been using it for a good while. I have not had no trouble with this. So guys, let's get to start making those rolls. Okay guys, we got the rolls all made. As you can see right here, what they look like. They came out pretty good. Now me, I really don't worry about having perfect rolls, because you know what, I'm just playing food. No, I'm not trying to win a contest or anything like that. I just want something functional. Actually, most years I don't even use rolls, but we got a lot. It's supposed to have a wet winter this winter and have a lot of rain. And so I really want to put myself up on rolls just in case, that way my roots don't rot and everything. But I find when I put my rolls down, I gotta water a lot more, so I tend not to use it. But some things I need rolls for, like carrots and everything, and root crops and potatoes. Those things I have to make rolls. But when I make those rolls, I try to put them as kind of as far apart as I can. That way I can have room to pull some mud, because my mud is kind of clumpy and clay over here. So I need to, after I make my rolls, what I like to pass my little hand tiller down each row, and I'll pass it down a couple of times, and then when I'm ready to pull some mud, it'll all be ready to go. Hey guys, I want to show you something. I was on my way to plant the cauliflower plants. I got some potatoes coming up. I put these down because my wife had them in the bag. They were growing in the bag. So I said, well, let me try just putting them in the ground. And they are starting to come up. I don't know if they'll make it. We don't really get cold winters around here. But sometimes we do get a freeze. So if we get a freeze, I'll try to protect it. But if I make it, it makes it. If it don't, it don't. So let's get started on planting those cauliflower plants. Okay guys, it's time to put these cauliflower plants in the ground. I'm gonna go ahead and bury this one right here. Now, I don't put no fertilizer down, because at the beginning, when I made the roll, before I made the rolls, I put some shrimp peelings and some fish heads in the ground. So that already broke down in there. If I decide I need to put some, I'll probably put a little bit, like a little while later, and I'll kind of put it like in between the plants. Because what I do is I got a stick right here, my trusty measuring stick, and I got 18 inches apart. And so I'll put that between the plants, and then that way they'll have a chance to grow. And then once I see they need some fertilizer, I'll go back around and I'll put some in between each plant and everything. I don't want to over fertilize my plants, and I don't want to under fertilize it. So I'll wait to see what the plant needs. It has a lot of nutrients already in the soil from the shrimp peelings and everything. So I don't want to add too much more fertilizer to it, where to burn the plant. And it's kind of hard to burn these kind of plants. They're pretty hardy and everything. But it's November over here right now, and our plants usually last through the winter. I never had no trouble. No, I know up north sometimes you have problems with your freezer hitting and everything, but over here, I don't think I ever had a situation, and we got down to 20-something degrees, and I don't think I ever had a situation where I actually lost my cauliflower or my broccoli. Now potatoes, I have lost potatoes. Potatoes did get burned a couple of times. Is the potatoes? What it does, the potatoes it'll burn the leaves, but then the plants will come back. But so it won't kill the plant. it'll still make potatoes, but what happens is a lot of the energy goes into back making new leaves. So I find whenever that happens, I'll get some small potatoes. And so I try to, if I can, I protect it, but usually very rarely ever do I ever have to worry about having any problem with a frost kill. Not frost, we have frost, we have a lot of frost, but a freeze killing something. The frost usually doesn't bother this. This usually can handle pretty good and everything. Now, because I live so far south, I'm probably like 5 minutes away right here, and I probably could be almost in the Gulf of Mexico. It's not, and you don't get no further south than what I am. This is the deep south. I can promise you that and everything. But I'll go ahead and get planted. I know when you're planting these, when you're planting them 18 inches apart, they kind of look like they're far apart, and you kind of like, man, that's too far apart. I can fit more plants in there if I put them a little closer. And you can fit more plants if you put them closer. The problem is, once they start growing, they'll start making these big leaves. They'll start taking up their space. And if you put them close together, then what happens is this one's pulling nutrients from this one's pulling nutrients from that one, and that's not good at all. Because the biggest thing I find with plants is you got to have space, number one. Number two is most of them need water. A lot of times you don't have a fertilizer problem. Most of the time you have a water problem. Like this year right here, I'll be honest with you, we are way in a deficit. Our area is in an extreme drought. Actually, the rain we're fixing to get these next couple of days is probably the last time we got this much rain was probably since, I think, June. We have, but basically all summer long, all we have is 1 inch or 2 inches of rain, very little rain at all, because we've been in an extreme drought. So making sure your plants are water, because our plant is made of 99% water. Mostly, if you break it down, it's mostly water. So you gotta make sure you water it good, and add fertilizer, add your seed. The plant's gonna tell you what it needs. If it's not green, then it's not getting enough it doesn't have enough nitrogen, or it's not getting enough sunlight. Now over me right here, I'm planting it where I need these trees right here, you can see, but I'm not really worried about that, because pretty soon all these leaves on these trees is fixing to fall off. And once these leaves fall down, I'm not gonna have no trouble. This will get all the sun it needs right here. So let me get started planting these guys before the rain comes, and I'll see you in a second. I had enough to plant the 2 full rows right here. I guess they're about some 50-foot rows, and maybe 35 foot. And I had a little bit left over to put in this other row over here where the potatoes was at. And I had a little bit left where I didn't plant the potatoes and things like that. But guys, look, I want to thank y'all for watching this video. I was going to do a few other things, but it's fixing to start raining like I was talking about earlier over here. It's actually drizzling right now. So thank y'all for watching this video, and I look forward to seeing y'all again in the next one.